Welcome everyone to our 5th Regional Marketing Meetup. I hope you're all feeling wonderful and you're ready for our second Meetup webinar. At first, I will pass the microphone to our Regional Marketing Manager, Anna Todorovic, who wanted to give you a warm welcome. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride.
Hello everyone, I'm super excited to be welcoming you today to our 5th Regional Marketing Meetup. The most we're going to talk about today is somehow related to future, to transformation, and to importance of social media of nowadays. Thank you for letting us power your digital dreams.
So at the beginning, before we start with the official program, I wanted to point out 3 important things that I want you to follow. First one is we have chat box over here that you already saw. So you can place your questions over there and the speakers will refer to them. Then make sure to catch some interesting moments, make sure to catch some interesting moments and participate in our Instagram challenge using both tag BRMM_2021 and hashtag BRMM2021. What this actually means. So you need to publish those pictures and videos on your Instagram stories and put those tags, as I said, both BRMM_2021 and BRMM2021 and as hashtag. So as last year, we will be spreading out some nice rewards. The idea why you need to do this, because this is the way we can see it on our Instagram page. All right, and the final thing, you can ask us anything whenever you want. Our marketing team is available on chat for any questions you might have. Okay, to come to what you're all waiting for. So let's see who our next speaker is. Okay, our first guest is one of the foremost brand and marketing strategists in the region, with more than 20 years of strategic marketing experience. He is a former head of brand planning in Google's creative think tank Zoo in London, where he created a strategy team and introduced to the industry 2 of the world's first creative data scientists. He worked on campaigns and programs for some of the UK's most loved brands such as Tesco, John Lewis, Waitrose, Virgin Holidays, Nando's, etc. Today, Lazar is much sought after trainer for digital marketing transformation as a regular speaker at global and regional conferences on topics of digital marketing and brand storytelling. It is such a pleasure to welcome Lazar Dzamic to our meetup and go on a customer journey with him.
Good morning, everybody, and I hope that you can see me and you can hear me properly.
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much, Nina. Can I just quickly check with you, just to be absolutely sure, how much time do we have all in all, including questions?
We have around half an hour for your presentations, and for the questions, around 15 minutes.
Okay, no problem. So 45 all in all. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So without further ado, thank you very much for the introduction, and really it's a privilege to be able to talk to you this morning. I would like to talk about what I consider one of the most important business and marketing topics overall. But somehow that thing is not kind of being discussed in that particular way. It's kind of going under the radar. But when you look at successful businesses, particularly B2B businesses, there's almost no successful businesses without being good across the customer journey. And also why customer journey is the beginning of the proper digital transformation as well, at least in my experience. So what is that elusive concept that we call CJ, customer journey? One of the best ways to think of any business is a collection of moments. Every business is nothing else than just a collection of moments externally and internally. And since late 1940s, when it started in Detroit, where McKinsey developed the first customer journey for the Detroit car industry, businesses have been trained to think about themselves as a collection of different moments. And then when they start adopting this kind of thinking, the next step would be, and how can we optimize each of those key moments in order to maximize our marketing budgets, including business budgets as well, marketing budgets, our organization, internal organization, our processes, all for the cause of maximizing the value of every prospect and every customer that comes along. And that's the concept of the customer journey. Every business, every B2B business is the collection of moments. Let's see for a second what I mean by that. First of all, there are different moments in which we build awareness about our business, different channels and different moments and different things that we do to build awareness, to actually let the world know that we exist. And then when people actually see whatever or hear whatever we have to offer in that particular collection of moments, they may say, oh, actually, this looks interesting to me. Potentially, this could be a good a partner for me. And they start researching us a little bit more. They need a little bit more details. And again, we've got a collection of channels and collection of moments where they are researching our company, trying to find out a little bit more about us to see whether actually we are what they need. And then when they did the research and they said, okay, this is actually now serious. These guys are certainly one of the 3 people that I have to talk to, trying to procure whatever I need to procure, whatever I need to buy. And they actually go into much more serious investigation and relations and meetings and everything else with us. They're going into the so-called conversion collection of moments, conversion phase, otherwise known as the conversion rate optimization from the point of our actions, CRO. And then let's say everything went well there. We were really optimizing quite well all of the moments in that phase. They buy, they become clients, they become customers. What happens then? Do we forget about them? Actually, we have to welcome them really strongly into our world, into our organization in different ways across different moments, because we know if we welcome clients really well, they are more likely to buy further things from us. And also they are less likely to churn. They are less likely to go away. And overall brand metrics also go up, such as Net Promoter Score, NPS, and various others. So the welcome program is really important. And then during the conversion phase or after that, we try to sell more. And then we try to sell either more expensive things to maximize the margin, but also we try to sell more things across our product or service portfolio. 2 collections of moments usually refer to as the upsell and the cross-sell phases. And then for some of the products, let's say insurance industry, where we buy insurance products on a regular, usually annual basis, next year, or there's going to come a period, a time, a moment where I would have to renew my product with you. And then the question is, what are we doing in the renewal collection of moments in order to increase the chances of the customer or the client staying with us again, instead of going to the competition? But clever companies today, particularly because we got the channels and we got the data, and if we are clever in collecting the data, we will have permissions to talk to them as well. Even if they left, we know that they may need something again, something that we sell again, or the same thing again, maybe 1 year down the line. We know exactly the date, again, like insurance products, or we know that it's very likely within a year they're going to be buying a few times in more or less regular intervals. We would stay in touch with them and we would try to win them back. All of these collections of moments are collectively called customer journey. And customer journey is one of the biggest revenue and profit drivers in modern business. All the data shows that, and my experience also shows that. I had clients, we'll come to that in a second, when most of their annual revenue was made from the customer journey, managing and optimizing the customer journey, particularly their database. But also customer journey has a huge implications on the internal side of the organization. We call it the employee journey, because again, it's the same concept that applies there. We organize, we maximize the whole of the recruitment advertising, the interview experiences, the welcome onboarding program for the employees, the career development, and everything else in exactly the same way that we optimize the customer journey for prospects and for clients. So it works both ways, internally and externally. When we map it out, if we map it out, immediately many things become clearer. We have a clear picture for each of the collection of moments, each of the steps in the customer journey. What are the channels that people are using to either discover us, to research us, or to engage with us? Where should we be? What are the channels that we should be paying attention to? For example, I don't know whether you knew that, but email in the West, in the developed world, email is the second most profitable marketing channel after search. But for example, in our region, let's say, roughly speaking, Central, Eastern, and Southern Europe, we are not using email so much or not so well for business purposes. We haven't trained ourselves to use it. We haven't trained our customers and clients to expect great things through email as well. But in the West, they're squeezing every single drop of value through that particular channel. If we know how our customers and clients and prospects engage with us through which particular channels, then we can optimize all of the marketing and brand and business, in many ways, actions around that. So this is kind of one very important advantage and benefit that the customer journey is offering us. And again, McKinsey's, Accenture's of this world, and various other management and technology consultants, IBM, and many others have understood that for quite a while. That's why they're charging so much money to their clients, because they simply get the concept, and that's what they do. They optimize across the customer journey in various ways. About 12, 15 years ago, McKinsey decided to redefine what the customer journey is for the modern world. They ran a global research about 5,000 brands in 5 different categories. And they confirmed many of the things that they had already in the previous research, and that the practitioners like myself also knew in practice. But they've also pointed out to a few important things that are happening now in the so-called digital world, meaning the world that is largely dominated by the presence and the activities in various digital channels as well. And the first thing that they've realized is we are still starting the evaluation of the potential partner or the seller with that initial consideration list in mind. We roughly have some brands, some companies in mind when we start thinking about a particular set of services or products. But the active evaluation phase now is incredibly important, and it's happening largely online, not necessarily exclusively, but in big part it's happening online, and there's lots of influencers involved there as well. Now, if the company is really not good in optimizing its presence and activities and content and tools and everything else in this particular phase, even if we were in the initial consideration list, we're going to be dropping off and somebody else is going to jump on. So this is why it's really important to be there in all of these important moments. And also McKinsey did confirm, again, we knew that from our data, that in any database, any client or customer database, there is roughly about 6 times more passively loyal clients than actively loyal clients. Passively loyal, they don't think a lot about us. We are good enough for now, but the moment that something better comes along, they're going to switch. And only small number of clients is kind of really dedicated to the relationship with us. So that's why, again, we still have to be all the time in front of their eyes. We have to actually build that relationship. We have to keep them warm all the time. Here's a few examples in practice, what I mean by the customer journey, how it works in practice. Take travel, for example. A lot of people travel all the time. I work on several travel programs, including Virgin Holidays, which is one of the largest, both Europe's and UK's travel operators, owned by Richard Branson, of course. And many of the travel operators, countries, I also work on Visit Wales, driving people to visit the Welsh countryside, which is absolutely beautiful. And each of the travel operators have their own definition of the customer journey, usually involving 10 to 15 different steps, like you can see here for TUI or Thomson, probably the world's largest travel operator. And as you can see, there's 4 different phases: search and book, pre-departure, on holiday, and then after the holiday when thinking and being inspired about a new holiday. Now take just the bottom right part, pre-departure program. TUI is also famous for having one of the best or the most optimized customer journeys in the travel industry in the world, and one of the world's leading so-called CRM programs based on the customer journey, where they're squeezing every single drop of value from every prospect and every booker, every customer. With Virgin Holidays, when myself and my team took over the CRM program, actually to build it because it was very in the beginning, about 70% of their annual income came from new customers that haven't booked before. Those customers and clients have been acquired through mass media, which means quite expensively, and the cost per sale was quite high, which means that the margin wasn't very high. After 4 years of optimizing their CRM program, we actually managed to take them to the level that 65% of their annual revenue came from the database, came from the previous bookers, people who have booked with them before and were in our database. And as you can imagine, the cost of sale, because we were using our own channels, predominantly email, but also the website, SMS, and so on and so forth, the cost per sale was quite low, which means that the margin was much, much, much bigger. So look how this is what we've done, and this is actually what TUI and many other travel operators are doing. And again, just to show you the principles, first of all, somebody booked. And yes, of course, we're going to say thank you for booking, not just in a black and white receipt. We want to give them a good experience of thanking them and actually showing that they made a really good choice. So it's an HTML email full of pictures referring to the destination and all the booking details, of course, but actually giving them more inspiration for the place that they're going to. And then we followed up, or David Thompson, sorry, follows up with the personalized link to a personalized landing page called My Thompson, where again, all these details are going to be there on the page, plus more information. And then a series of emails before somebody goes on holiday. Make the most of your flight. So many ways to make money on the plane. Food options, entertainment options, leg space options, sleeping options. I mean, Wi-Fi and onboard telephony options. So many additional things to pay for where they can maximize the value. And then the preparation for going to the holiday destination, all the excursions that they could buy, all the places that they could visit, and we can organize that for them. How the money works, what are the usual cultural festivals over there, food habits, and lots of other things that are useful for them to have the best holiday. Then there is the sales call, or actually service call, but the service call checking if everything is all right, and they sell a lot on those service calls. Usually when somebody picks up the phone, the conversion rate goes by 8 times on the phone compared to email and some other channels. And then there's a specific excursions and activities guide for people who haven't booked anything yet, to remind them and inspire them there's still time to book it. And then the airport information, people are flying from in those countries from big airports, their cities basically, how to get around the busy airport, how to find the checkout or check-in counter, vouchers for restaurants, and lots of other things to make the experience at the airport the best it could. And then final reminder, have a great time. And again, the holiday money reminders, because the credit cards may not be universally accepted in the destination you were going to. Carrying cash around with you may be dangerous. So the travel checks are the best option, and we got a really good deal on those. So as you can see, in just one part of the customer journey, through optimization of key moments and key needs, the company is making a lot of the additional money, a lot of the additional revenue, and also quite profitably, simply because it's using their own channels such as email, SMS, website, and so on. Here's another example, my example, Toyota, when we were moving Toyota from offline CRM to adding the digital component, the so-called eCRM at the time. That E has disappeared now because E means everything and everywhere. But when we're moving it to digital space, we've used the steps that they've defined already. Somebody's not thinking about buying a car at all. And then different collection of moments when somebody started thinking, oh, I would probably need a new car in a year's time or something like that. Then the contemplation, the detailed research of the options, and then the actual purchase, and then what happens post-purchase. And all of that being strategically framed through the questions that we're trying to answer. What is the mindset of the customer, the prospects and the consumers in this particular moment? What are the requirements that we need to fulfill, and how are we going to do it? So this is the customer journey strategy, or the CRM strategy on a page, or SOAP, as we used to call it. Broadband purchases work on a customer journey. Insurance purchases work on a customer journey. Financial services purchases work on a customer journey. Any consultancy purchases, the traditional B2B works on a customer journey. Most of the businesses, unless you are selling things that are sold in a supermarket, the so-called FMCG products, work on a customer journey and could be hugely optimized from the revenue and profitability point of view, and also customer satisfaction point of view, if we optimize properly. So customer journey is ubiquitous. It's present everywhere in all the businesses who actually know what they're doing and who want to maximize revenues and profitability. Customer journey is incredibly important for us for another reason. And that reason is that if we map out the customer journey, we know exactly what kind of content to offer, what sort, not messages, not necessarily just messages, but also what sort of content to offer in every touch point, in every moment that matter across the customer journey. So we are simply treating people largely, if not completely differently in the awareness phase and in the onboarding phase. Because in the awareness phase, we have to be, let's say, strong on Google. We have to be strong on LinkedIn, for example, in groups and other places where our audiences are having communities and gathering to. We have to be present in conferences, trade shows, lots of public relations and things like that. For some companies, corporate advertising or CSR, corporate social responsibility communications as well. And that's the awareness phase, because we are focusing on that. But when somebody is researching you, or when somebody is onboarding with you, we have to offer them different things. So if somebody is researching a bank or for a loan, or maybe an insurance product, they would need a sort of a calculator there, or another sort of a tool that is going to help them compare different products. Maybe we're going to give them a free trial, the freemium approach. They start free, we convert them later on into a paying customer. Maybe we're going to give them a product tour. Maybe we're going to give them a personalized demonstration, business case builder, set of templates that they can use if they just became our clients or customers, and so on and so forth. So we do simply different things in different moments of the customer journey. But first, we have to define what the steps are, what the touch points are, what the moments are, in order to know what to offer in each of those. So here are a few more examples. One of my ex-clients is in and out, relatively close to what you do, not exactly, but in the same category, automotive. In and out chain of car servicing centers in Britain. And basically, they know how important the conversion phase is. And in this particular case, a lot of it is happening in Britain online, just on the website. That's how the market works. More than 90% of all the insurance products in Britain are bought online. More than 85% of travel is bought online. And various other categories work more or less only online. So booking a car service is one of those. And they know that people need, when we looked at the moments that matter, when we look at all the steps and all the key moments, how important is to give people the trust signals. They're called the trust signals. Things that we're going to say and show that reassure people in that particular phase are, these guys look like serious guys. I should give them a more investigation or maybe buy really on the spot. So we mentioned immediately on the website, we have expert technicians who are going to do the job for you, video reports about how your car is being serviced and repaired, which is quite advanced, you have to admit, actually, compared for the whole of the world, not just our part of the world. Service in 1 hour, guaranteed. The Trustpilot is the site for reviews and ratings. They've got 5-star average rating on Trustpilot, which is really, really, really high. Value pricing, meaning you're always getting a really good value for money, and also a good footprint of auto centers across the whole of the country, 27 different auto centers. So it's going to be relatively close to wherever you live. So immediately, as you can see, 6 big trust signals just on the website in order to kind of stimulate people to go through. Also, they talk about the experience, how the experience while you're there, while you're waiting for your car to be serviced, is actually done in and out. First of all, you can book your service online, as you can see, because it's a very important thing to be able to do that. Nobody has time to waste over there in physical things. I have to do it as quickly as possible. Then you arrive, you check in immediately. The whole process is handled really, really well. Guaranteed 1 hour service. And while you are there, you got a free coffee and Wi-Fi. So all of the trust signals, all of the reasons why not to buy, they're actually trying to reduce in this particular phase, in this particular step, and the collection of moments that we call conversion rate optimization. And here's something that, again, could be close to what many of you do, which is how to show the benefits of various things that you sell to the end client and the end customer. And in this particular case, it is the end customer, like the driver, like all of us, most of us. And they basically try to demystify, that's a very nice idea, to demystify all the signals and the alerts that are appearing on the dashboard, but actually explaining the part behind that is actually this particular thing that we do have, and we regularly check if you service your car with us. So immediately this panel, as we call it on the website, tells you these guys really know. These guys really know what's going on. They really know their business, but also they know how I feel. So I can trust these guys because obviously they really listen, they observe what's happening in real life, and they obviously can relate that to the business that they do. So see how understanding the customer's needs in particular moments can help optimize the conversion. Or how can we make a bigger impact in the phase when we're invoicing somebody? Let's say somebody bought, and we have to thank them for that. We have to send them the invoice, and we would like to kind of welcome them and onboard them into our business. Does it have to be the dull, boring, black and white invoice? No, law doesn't say it can't be colorful. Yes, law does prescribe the minimum amount of things that have to be present in every invoice, but the law doesn't say that it can't be pretty. It can't be interesting. It can't be designed in a way that people can say, wow, these guys are really thinking differently. This is a completely different thing that I'm getting from them. People will remember you well. And all of these things are reassuring them, I made a good decision. It's sticking at the back of somebody's mind, I made a good decision. That's how people work. And again, big guys in your industry know that. Honda has a really good welcome pack for their new drivers. That welcome pack is a physical book. It's not digital, it's physical. And in that pack, they play with their proposition, the brand proposition, the power of dreams. The book is almost like a cartoon book. Lots of interesting stories and examples how Honda does the power of dreams. But the interesting thing is it's also a market research channel for them, because one of the pages, several pages in the booklet actually have the ideas page. Any ideas that you may have, draw them on this page, tear the page out. There's an envelope in the book, a paid postage envelope in the book, and send it back to us. And we're going to thank you for that as well. There's also a questionnaire and various other things. So it works as a very inspirational market research exercise, and is helping all the clients, all the customers feel really appreciated from Honda. I've spent my money really well. Or here's an example inside the company for your employees. How do we welcome our employees into the business? And this is salesforce.com. Some of you may use their platform for sales optimization, maybe CRM as well. And this is the welcome pack for their new member of the UX, user experience design team, because it's an online platform. They need a lot of UX engineers, to help them run it properly and design it so it works. It's easy to use by clients. And as you can see, again, it's a physical pack, because something tangible, when people can touch it, really is a big magic. We can do it digitally as well, but always helps if you've got something physical in it. And the UX guy has 3 books about how to organize their day, how to work in a company and everything else. But also all these other things are showing the new employees, we really understand you. We so understand you. You came home. You're going to feel like home here. Because immediately there's several stickers for the laptops, which is what these people actually immediately like to have. There's the $200, quite generous, actually voucher for Spotify music, because most of the UX and the developers and the techie people sit around with their headphones on their ears, listening to music while they code or design. So they know how they're going to be working, and they give them some inspiration for that. There's the towel for the gym, because again, you're going to be working long hours and you need to kind of exercise a bit as well, usually in the same building. The set of business cards, some chocolate for energy and so on and so forth. The fridge magnet with your name, so you can put it on your office box divider, so people who are actually coming or passing by can actually see what your name is before they talk to you. But the thing that is really saying we know you well is the Nerf gun, because again, one of the things that the techie guys do all day is they shoot themselves with Nerf arrows, and just having that little toy in the pack is saying almost more than anything else, we so know you. You'll feel right at home here. And that's basically what they report. So this is a welcome pack for a new employee that really, really shows this company is for me. I made a good decision to join them. And finally, before we finish, an example from my life. It's always because we would have data from our clients. We would know what they bought, how they use our products and services. We will talk to them all the time, of course, and we should collect that data and insights, how we call them in our database. And when the time comes, we can use them in very inspirational ways. Now, this was the gift, the present that my wife and I got in London, because we were shopping with an online shopping, online grocery delivery services, online supermarket for many, many, many years. It was much convenient for us. And then every year, they've sent us a bottle of wine as a thank you for staying with us for the past year. But it wasn't any old bottle of wine, you know, something that they got cheap because somebody wanted to get rid of some bad wine or whatever. No, it was the exact bottle of wine that we bought the most the last year. So it was a bottle of our favorite wine. And that's a really fantastic touch that really shows how the company listens to what we like, how we do business together. And it was a fantastic moment for us. I said, well done. As a marketing person, I said, well done, guys. You really are doing it well. And just to finish my story for today, if you were thinking how to map out the customer journey, what's the process to do it? Well, the process is relatively straightforward, but still requires some preparation. First of all, it's done collectively. All of the key functions in your company have to get together in a room, in a workshop, 1 day or maybe even 2 days workshop to map it out. Meaning every single department or a function that touches upon the customer journey, that impacts upon the customer journey. Sometimes could be different data teams, sometimes could be technical or digital teams, people who are in the back office processes, sales, call center, all of them together, marketing, of course, all of them together. And then you define the main steps. What are the key steps that somebody goes through in order to investigate us, in order to buy, in order to be onboarded, in order to develop the further client relationship with them, all the different steps. And then for each of the steps, you collectively talk about and define the key touch points. Where are people researching us? In which particular channels? Let's say for a bank, that could be the bank's website, it could be the inbound telephone call, it could be going into the branch physically to inquire, and so on. I may send them an email and expecting to get information back. If we know all the touch points, then we can look at what's happening in the touch points, and then we can optimize based on what people need in those particular touch points, who they are. Very often we can see different so-called distinct personas in that step, and then we devise the content and the communications and the tools, whatever they need, for those different personas in different touch points. And what is going to happen when we analyze it, when we map it out for the first time, if it haven't been optimized before? Usually we will find a lot of problems, and they call the pain points. Moments in the customer journey where something is not happening, when people are dropping off, when people are slowing down the journey, simply we are losing money. And when we define, so for example, if I want to call a bank in order to inquire about a new current account that I've seen the commercials for, and I call and nobody picks up the phone, and I call and the other person on the other side doesn't know anything about the product, or they were rude, or the interactive menu with options is not constructed in a way that I can recognize my option, what I'm calling for. All of these are pain points, problematic points that we actually are putting a barrier in front of a prospect or a client and creating the moments when they're dropping off, which means we're losing money. And that's exactly then what we do based on your own data, the client's own data. We look at the data for each of the touch points, each of the channels, and we see what's going on here. And then we put the money value on that. How many pain points do we have? How many people did we lose in a month or in a year? And how much money is that? Because we know what's the average value of every consumer or the lifetime value of a consumer. We can calculate that number and we say, this is how much money each of the pain points is losing us. Sometimes it's a shocking discovery if that haven't been done before. Businesses simply don't know how much money they're losing. They simply do not know. So this is the first moment of truth when you actually realize how much money is being lost. And then you immediately know how much money do you need to invest to sort it out, who needs to do it, and how they have to work together, and eventually what technology you need in order to sort it out. That's the beginning of digital transformation. That's an empty word, right? Digital transformation. It can mean anything and nothing, depending on the company, depending on what you actually need. So how to define what you actually need? Doing the customer journey mapping is, in my book, at least one of the best exercises. They can immediately tell you where the key pain points are, where you're losing a lot of money, and these are the places to focus first in order to plug the gap and start making or getting that money back. And then you will know exactly what to do, who needs to do it, how they have to work together, what technological support and process support they need, and everything else. And basically that's it. That's how the customer journey is making money, creating new revenue, and particularly improving the profitability of almost any business on earth. And again, it works for most of the businesses unless you are selling the things that are usually sold in a supermarket, the FMCG products. They've got something else called impulse purchase, shopping missions, and a slightly different philosophy applies than most of the other businesses on the planet. I hope that this was useful, could be useful for you, or at least interesting. And I'm absolutely happy to take any questions that you may have. And I can see already that we got some questions on a chat. And Nina, if that's okay, I can just read them and try to answer them, right?
Perfectly. Wow.
So how to build strong relationship, examples of how to build strong relationships with the consumers. I think I've shown some examples already, but it depends actually on which particular, do you mean overall? If you mean overall strong relationship, that means optimizing the whole of the customer journey. There's no one particular point that you're going to do, oh, we're going to build strong relationships. Everything is building relationships from the moment that they start investigating you to the moment that they purchase and repurchase again. And then when you look at those moments, you can see where are the moments that you can really play strongly on, when you say strong relationships, whatever that means. Usually the emotional response they're getting from you, the feeling of the great customer service, that somebody is really listening to me and to my needs, the responsiveness and the quickness of your response, and whether you're sorting out their problems or not, or even better, can you preempt their problems? Before they happen, you already have the answer. You're giving them the tools so the problem doesn't happen at all. Now, all of those things can be done only if you optimize the customer journey in all of the touch points and all of the important moments across it. So that's collectively builds strong relationships. Yes, of course, people can help. If you've got a charismatic leader who's spending a lot of time with your customers and clients, that helps. Or the sales director, or maybe the marketing director, or the customer service director, or any other person that is actually spending a lot of time with your clients and is going to through that particular personal connections is going to build those relationships. But in my book, everything you do across the customer journey is building relationships with not just with customers, but with prospects as well. And then the second question was, how can we measure the profitability of well-established customer journey strategy? Very simply, if you haven't done it before, you're going to see the immediate jump in all of the important KPIs once you map it out and start putting it into practice. Now, the first thing that you do, as I've explained, is when you map out the pain points and the value being lost in monetary terms, when we actually put the value on the average user value or the average client value or the lifetime value of a client for each of the touch points lost, then you can see how much money you're losing immediately. Like in the case of one bank in our region, in Serbia, they were losing just on current accounts, just on opening current accounts online, which is actually part of the customer journey they really want to be strong in. They weren't at the time. They were losing about 2.5 million euros in the period of 3 years, according to their data, the average value of a client. So 2.5 million euros in 3 years lost just on the online, the web part of the customer journey. Now, that's a lot of money. How much money did they need to sort it out? Well, depends on what they want to do, but certainly good part of those 2.5 million euros could be got back if they invested between 150 and 200,000 euros. That's a complete no-brainer, right? And you've got all the data. You can see what's happening at every touch point based on the analytics. You can see exactly how people are dropping off, and you can calculate exactly the value. So it's not guessing, it's actually knowing if we sort this out, we're going to get this money back. And we need only a 10th or a 20th of that sum in order to invest in that, in order to plug the hole. Then we are not talking about cost here, because nobody's talking about these 150 to 200,000 euros as a cost. It's an investment. And the question is not, should we invest, but are we crazy? Why didn't we do this before? So the profitability and the revenue, not just the profitability, is measured simply when you compare before and after. And then when you've optimized really, really well, then how you measure whether it's whether all the improvements, new improvements are working, is that you test all the new ideas, new touches, optimization of individual communication pieces or individual points, whether we can do things better here or there. And then you compare whether it's working better than in the previous idea, the previous instance, the previous way, how you've done it. And everything is measurable in the customer journey. Everything could be measured, and you can quickly see the results.
Okay, guys, any more questions maybe? Don't be shy. I think they are shy. Okay, we can finish this. Thank you, Lazar, for the excellent presentation. I think everyone enjoyed it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It is still morning, and I think we all need a coffee. What do you think? So let's have a quick one and get back here in 10 minutes. All right? Thank you.
Enjoy the coffee.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Hello, everyone. Are we back? I hope your coffee was delicious. Even if it wasn't so strong, don't worry, because we're about to wake you up with our next speaker and his tips on how to market on Instagram. He is a UK-based digital and social media marketing expert who has grown Knowlton into multi-award winning business that has worked with the likes of FIFA, Wow, Nestle, Citibank, Eurotunnel, and Boston Consulting Group. In addition to running Knowlton, Dan is known for giving his best insight away on stages around the world. Dan is also the co-host of the Business Anchors podcast, which is the only business podcast you'll get excited to listen to at weekends. His name is Dan Knowlton, and we're extremely proud to have him today on this meetup. Welcome, Dan.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I hope you've had a good day so far. All going well?
It was a bit complicated with these technical issues we had, but it is good. We're good.
Good. Okay, cool. So shall I get started?
Yes, of course.
Cool. So just before we get started, there's a couple of things I've been asked to remind you about. which hopefully I remember all of this. Firstly, the Instagram challenge. So there's currently an Instagram challenge. Let me just put my filter on. I'm hoping you can see that. Cool, there we go. So the Instagram challenge, which is where you create an Instagram story, a video or a photo, post it on there about this meetup, and make sure you tag the account, so BRMM_2021, which is in the corner of this filter, and also use the hashtag BRMM2021 to enter that challenge. So remember to do that, guys, get involved with that. So now I'm just going to share my screen and put my presentation up. Bear with me 1 second. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay, we're getting there almost. Share screen. Okay, cool. So just to let you know how this is going to work and how this session is going to break down, we're going to have 15 minutes of me presenting to you and talking about marketing on Instagram and the whole marketing world as a whole in 2021. Then we're going to do a kind of 15-minute workshop where you're going to be put into individual groups assigned randomly to do a bit of an activity that I'll explain to you when we get to that. And then the final 10 to 15 minutes is going to be a bit of a Q&A between us. I've also got some questions already that have been asked that I can talk through. So that's how this is going to break down into those 3 different kind of segments. So what are we talking about today? Today, we are talking about Instagram advertisement and how you can market your business on Instagram in 2021. As was mentioned before, my name is Dan Knowlton. I run a creative video and social media marketing agency called Knowlton, based here in the UK. And we work with some of the biggest brands in the world to produce really creative video content and run paid social media ads, all to drive a trackable return on investment. And all of that experience with working with the likes of FIFA, Wall, Nestle, Eurotunnel, etc., I'm going to be bringing into this session, and hopefully also with the questions you've got in the Q&A and that kind of thing. So I think it's really important, first of all, we start with the big problem in marketing and advertising in 2021. What is the biggest problem that we see in the industry? And really the biggest problem we see in 2021 is that most consumers don't like marketing. Most consumers, your potential customers, don't like being sold to. They don't like advertising. And it's really important for us all to understand this as a starting point. Your potential customers, if anything you do looks like you're marketing to your customers or trying to overtly sell to them, this turns your potential customers off. And we can see evidence of this. When you're sitting at home watching television with your family and, on Netflix, and an advert comes on, what do? You look at your phone. You try to find something more interesting than that advert because you don't like being sold to. It's a really important point to understand. We call this second screening. When you're watching a TV, an advert comes on and you look at something else, your social media or your messages, something more interesting than advertising and marketing. Also, if you think about disruptive marketing, how annoying is it when you're watching something cool on YouTube, then bam, an ad pops up, a non-skippable ad that disrupts your experience on that platform. Again, frustrating and annoying. These are all the types of marketing that have made us consumers hate advertising and hate marketing. It's a really important point to understand. And also another thing to remember, as a marketer, it's important to remember that no one actually truly cares about your company. And I know that sounds harsh to say, but we all need to understand this. No one really cares about your company when they're on Instagram. They go on Instagram to be educated, entertained, inspired. They don't go on there to hear about your latest product. They don't go on there to hear about your new employee. They honestly don't care. And this is a truth we all need to understand. Because once we understand this, we can start to produce content on Instagram and other platforms that our consumers actually want to see. And I've got some examples of this as we move on. But there are some ads and some types of marketing that people actually get excited to consume. Imagine that, marketing. Imagine you were doing your marketing, or you were running an Instagram account that your potential customers actually got excited to look at. This is all possible. And I'm going to share some examples now. So what marketing and what advertising do people actually love? Super Bowl ads. So I'm sure some of you are familiar with Super Bowl ads. These are the adverts shown between the Super Bowl in America, the American football competition. Now, these adverts are designed in a way to be entertaining, emotive, interesting to consume. They don't feel like a traditional advert. They feel like in a similar category to your favorite Netflix show. They're entertaining, but ultimately they're selling a product or service. Just like you, they're selling a product or service. So Super Bowl ads work really well. And the National Retail Federation did some research to ask people who watch the Super Bowl what they thought of the ads. And 78% of them said they saw them as entertainment. They saw these adverts that are selling a product or service in the same category as their favorite Netflix show, entertainment. Think about this. Think your marketing could be in the same category as your audience's favorite Netflix show. Imagine that. Getting in front of your customers, getting them excited to consume your content. Another example of advertising or marketing that people actually get excited to consume, Christmas adverts. Now, I don't know how popular this is in your country, but in the UK, at Christmas time, people get very excited to consume adverts by people like John Lewis, Sainsbury's. All of the supermarkets in the UK produce these really emotive, relatable adverts where they tap into nostalgic things, and people get really excited to consume them. And, when you look on social media, people are, posting saying, I can't wait to see the latest John Lewis advert. How crazy is that? People getting excited to consume marketing rather than hating it like we traditionally do. And if you look at how much has been being spent on Christmas advertising year on year, it's going up consistently, and it's billions of pounds being spent on this. There has been a dip since COVID happened, but it's back on the way up again. And finally, another type of advertising that we love, content from our favorite creators, our favorite Instagram accounts. There's a guy called Daniel Mack. I don't know if you've heard of him. Sorry. He has an Instagram account where he's also on TikTok, where he goes up to people with nice cars and films it and asks them, what do you do for a living? This is a very simple piece of content, but it gets millions and millions of views. And yeah, he's really grown a huge following because he's creating content that's interesting. He's found a niche to create content around that people are actually interested in finding out about. And if you think, some of this content is brand deals, some of this content is advertising, but us as the consumers get excited to consume it. That's the way you need to be thinking with your marketing. You need to be thinking more like a creator and less like a business. More like a creator and less like a business. And I've got some accounts I'm going to share for inspiration shortly to show you what that looks like. And influencer marketing works, right? Influencers work. Nearreach did some research that found that for every dollar spent, there was $5.20 in earned media value from influencer marketing. It really does work. And it works because guess what? It doesn't look like an advert. When good creators, good influencers content doesn't look like an advert. When you're scrolling through their Instagram, it looks like they're just talking about products that they like, showing you their routine of using a product, and that kind of thing. So it really does work because it doesn't look like an advert. Again, a lesson that we can all learn. It doesn't look like an advert. If you were to look at your Instagram account right now, how much of it looks like it's marketing material? How much of it is promoting your products and service? How much of it's talking about you rather than creating interesting, entertaining, inspirational content that your audience will actually enjoy consuming? That's something I want you all to do after this. Audit your own Instagram account. Do you get excited by the content you're posting? Would you scroll past that in your Instagram feed? If you would, then you really need to change things up. And we're going to do an activity to come up with some ideas shortly. And the reason that this content works is because it makes us feel something. It triggers our emotions. Content that makes us happy, that makes us sad, that makes us laugh, that makes us cry, that makes us excited, all triggers our emotions. And when our emotions are triggered, it's going to make us take action. When you look at your the things you share on social media, look back at them, and I bet you can ask yourself, did that trigger some kind of emotion in me? And I bet you can say yes to almost everything you share, because that's why we share things. That's why we take action. It triggers our emotions. If you think of like a random example, charity appeals, when you see the video of, starving kids in Africa and that kind of thing, the way they position that piece of content is to make you feel, sad for the people in the video. And that's what triggers you to donate. In a similar way, I know it's a very different industry, but you need to be thinking, how can you make your customers laugh, make them excited, make them relate to your content? It's really important. And to summarize, your content on Instagram needs to be entertaining, emotion triggering, non-ad looking. We don't want it to look like an advert, and it needs to be fun to consume. Again, as an action after this, note this down. Look at your Instagram account. Is it delivering on these things here? And we like to call this advertainment, entertaining advertising. It's a unique approach to your marketing and advertising, focusing on your potential customers first and what they want from Instagram and any platform before you start talking about yourself and your products and your services. Do your research to understand what they actually care about and what they want to see on this platform. Speak to your customers, ask them, do market research to find out what are they actually interested in. And one of the best places to start this process is to get inspiration from people who are already doing it very well. I've got some global accounts here, and then I've got a more local example to you after this. So just to go through some of these, I've already mentioned Daniel Mack. These are all themed around cars, because an easy kind of theme to know that your customers are interested about is cars. It's the obvious one. There will be other themes of content you can produce that your customers will be interested in, but let's stick with cars for now. So Daniel Mack, he produces those videos where he goes up to people with a nice car and says, hey, what do you do for a living? And it generated millions of views because it's a unique, creative piece of content. Another example, the second one to the left here, Yanni. He is a guy who had a TV show called Yanimize, where they did up really nice cars. And so definitely have a look at that. He produces some great content around cars. And then we have the more community-based Instagram channels like Car Throttle and Drive Tribe. Definitely go and check out some of the content these guys are making, because it gets a lot of engagement, a lot of views. So that, as an action step, just remember to summarize, you need to be looking at these types of accounts, because this is what can give you your inspiration. As an example, at our marketing agency, we get some of the best inspiration for our own marketing content from other creators online, from other places, even from places like TikTok. Which we're going to talk about later on. There's lots of inspiration out there. One of the best tips I can give is don't just get inspiration from other people in your industry. Look at what the best creators in the world are doing and get inspiration from those places. And finally, here's another example, a local example. The guys at Bisltein Group gave this to me for you to have a look at. He's producing some really great advertainment content. I really recommend you go and check this guy out. Also, everyone watching, please note down these accounts, because these are going to come in useful for the workshop. So if you can all note down this account here, and I'll just skip back to the next one in a second, because we're going to use this for the workshop activity after. I'll just go back to the other one. If you note down these accounts here, because again, we're going to use these for the, I will go back to this, but if as many people as possible, note these down now so that it makes it more of a smooth process when we get to the workshop. Cool. So, and it's really important to think less like a business and more like a creator on Instagram. As I've already mentioned, think less like a business and more like a creator. And this is where looking at those creator accounts for inspiration will really help you to develop your own content strategy on Instagram. And this is a really important model. This is a traditional marketing funnel. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this, but honestly, as an agency, as I mentioned, we work with some of the biggest brands in the world. We still use this framework as a kind of a top level framework when we're developing marketing campaigns for clients. So even, with your Instagram, it's so important to remember this model. And I'll just go through this briefly. So this model represents the journey your customers go on from not being aware of you to considering you or trusting you to eventually becoming a customer. And at each of these stages, you need to be producing different types of content on different platforms to attract, convince, and convert your ideal customers. So just to go through this, the starting point is always who. Who are you trying to attract? And this is marketing 101, the simplest form of marketing. Who are you trying to target? Make sure you note that down. And this will be part of our activity after this. Who is it you're trying to attract to your Instagram account? Next, then it's a case of building awareness. How do we build awareness on Instagram? We create content that's educational, entertaining, and inspiring. Then when it comes to convincing our customers that we're the best solution to their problem, we need to build trust, right? We need to build consideration for our customers to consider working with us. So here it's important to make it as easy as possible for your customers to know that you're the best solution to their problem. How do we do that? We produce content that answers their questions, answers their objections, tells the audience, why are you the best company to work with compared to your competitors? What makes you unique? And an activity you can do for this, just as a quick addition, speak to your sales team. Note this action down. This is actually really important. Speak to your sales team and ask them, what are the most common objections and questions you get when you're speaking to our customers? And this will really help come up with content ideas for this consideration stage. Your customers might say, yeah, I was thinking of working with them, but I was unsure of what the process was to work with you. If you find that out, you can create a video talking through the process of what it's like to work with you. Or they may say, I was thinking of working with them, but I didn't know how much stock they had, or if they had the kind of products I was looking for. You could then create content that's talking about the tens of thousands of products you've got for different kind of car brands, etc. And then finally, at this purchase stage, once you've built awareness, built trust, then it's a case of nudging people who are ready to buy to buy. Now, this needs to be a much smaller part of your marketing. We tend to split these three stages up into 60%, 30%, 10%. So 60% awareness, 30% consideration, 10% purchase. And really, it's a case of having clear calls to action in your content. When you're producing a video at the end, what do you want your customers to do? In your Instagram bio, when someone's read it, what action do you want them to take? Make sure this is super clear so that when people are ready to buy, you're doing the things to communicate that to them. Okay, now this is where this is going to get interesting, and hopefully this all works, but we shall see. So how do you develop Instagram advertainment concepts? We're going to come up with this now. So in a second, or in a minute, you're going to be randomly assigned, hopefully, if this works, into 10 different rooms, into different rooms. And I think there's around 9 of you per room, I think. And I'm going to set you a task. And I'm also going to enter those rooms for a couple of minutes each to talk to you about this process. So we're going to go into our groups. We're going to follow some steps I'm going to share with you in a second. And then we're going to do this for 15 minutes. And then we're going to come back. And I want one person from each group to share your idea in the chat. And I'm going to talk through what this is, what we're going to do in a second. Share your idea in the chat. And then we're going to discuss it. And then we're going to do a Q&A. Okay, so here is what I want us to do. This is the group activity. So just to go through this with you. Ultimately, I want you to come up with one good idea. That's not asking much, is it? One good idea. And I want you to set an action for you to implement something you've learned from this session. So here are the 4 steps you need to take when you go into your groups. 1, I want you to outline your target market. Again, this could be a brief chat between you to say, who are we targeting? It may be slightly different in things, but just note down who are your target market. It's really important to start with who you're trying to convince to become a customer so that you can create content and ideas that fulfill the needs of that person. Just refresh your memory. And you would have done this anyway. Your marketers, you would have done this. Who are you targeting? Number two, I want you to then spend a few minutes looking at some of the accounts that I've shared for inspiration. Some of those car-related accounts. You could even look at other types of accounts that, around themes that your customers are interested in. Cars is the easiest one, as I mentioned. And I want you to look at those, and I want you to look through the content and find content that's got the most views and engagement on each of those posts to start to spark some ideas, and think, what could we create around the theme of cars? Oh, Daniel Mack created these really creative videos asking people what they do for a living. Could you do something similar to that? Maybe that's not right for you. I don't know. It's just some ideas. Car Throttle, the car community page, could have some quote-based images or some educational content around cars. Maybe you could do something similar. It's a case of getting inspiration, then adding your own twist to that and coming up with an idea. Step number three, I just want you to come up with one idea for a piece of content you could create on Instagram that's something you've never done before, that's unique, that's inspired by what I've been speaking about, advertainment. One idea. And finally, I want you all individually to write down at the end of that session, what's the first action you will take to apply something you've learned today? It could be having a meeting with your marketing team to communicate this about advertainment. It could be scheduling some time to produce the idea that you've come up with. Think about what's that first action. All of this has been a waste of time if you don't action something. So this is what I want to make you do. So one final thing, when you're about to go into your groups, please don't be shy. You're going to be with random people. Please all discuss with each other. We're going to have 15 minutes to do this. 15 minutes. So set a timer on your phone for 15 minutes. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to shut down the PowerPoint. So just to show you again those accounts, just to remind you for inspiration, these are the accounts here. Yep. And there. Okay. And you need to remember these 4 steps. So now I'm hoping we're going to get people into their groups. You're going to go into a separate room. I'm not going to close this down so you can see this down, see these 4 steps here. Make sure you write these down. And then, you're going to go into your groups, do this activity for 15 minutes. I'm going to come into each of your groups to come and say hello and talk to you. And then we'll be back here in 15 minutes. So I'm hoping now we're going to be assigned into individual groups.
Okay. Amazing, Dan. That was quite interesting. Let's wait a little bit so we can separate everyone into groups. Okay. But you have this on your screen, so make sure to remember what you need to do and what you need to pay attention to. So let's just see how this is going to work and who is going to end up in which group. So make sure to make one of those members in each group as a team leader, because that person at the end of this workshop is going to be the one who is going to write on the chat box the result. What is the idea that you made regarding this workshop? All right, just give us a little bit of time to create this.
Cool. Remember to note down these steps, guys, as well, just so you've got these steps. Hey, is everyone back? I think everyone's...
How was it? Did you
Is
like it?
everyone back in the room? How was that, guys? All good? Some rooms were more chatty than others, I noticed, which is fine. If all of the team leaders can please share your ideas in the group chat now. Yeah, and we can go through. Also, whilst you're doing that, remember to enter the Instagram challenge. Take a cool photo or video and post it on your Instagram story and tag the Instagram account BRMM_2021 and use the hashtag BRMM2021 to enter the challenge. So please share your ideas in the chat. There was definitely some good ideas I heard going into different rooms, so please do share some of those in the chat and we can have a bit of a discussion. Who's going to be the brave person to share their idea first? Come on. Someone share your idea. One of the team leaders. Have you got your idea? There was definitely some good ideas in the groups. I heard the discussions. Someone's writing. Good. Thanks, Heidi. I hope that's how you say your name. We're typing. Yeah, there was some really good discussions going on in the groups. A couple of the groups I came in and didn't say a lot because there was a lot going on. Others, it was a bit quiet, but that's fine. Everyone's different. We've definitely got some good ideas. Hopefully this will spark some ideas with some of you as well. Okay, what we're going to do whilst you're typing, oh, hello, we've got our first idea. Okay, we came up, thank you, Istvan. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. We came up with the idea of tracking the progress of building up a workshop from ground zero to an epic workshop. Yes, I heard this idea when I was in your room and I thought it was brilliant. You know, people who are into cars, you know, like seeing cool stuff to do with cars. So imagine if you, had a project where you were doing up your workshop and you could create, just to go into that a bit more detail, you could create Instagram stories because there's different elements to Instagram, different formats. There's stories, there's reels, which is kind of short form, similar to TikTok. There's grid posts, so posts that are on your profile. There's IGTV videos, up to 10-minute videos. There's going live. So there's all of these different formats. You could try and test different things to show that workshop being developed. So like I said, you could have stories where you're talking through each of the steps, you know, each week. This week, we look at what we've done in the workshop. We've made this part over here really cool in the workshop and made a nice rack for all of our tools. You could create a longer form IGTV video where you record for maybe up to 5 minutes or so, where when it's done to show the full workshop. So yeah, absolutely love that idea. And really, great idea, guys. So let's keep going through this. Good, there's more coming in now. Sebastian, our idea would be prepare your car for the winter. Keep your family safe. Yes, educational, like more of an educational angle. I really like that. I think one of the best ways to come up with educational content is to also ask your customers what questions do they have that they need answering, and then you can create content. You know, even when you're seeing customers, try and ask them or ask them online. Great idea, guys. And this will be an entire 1-month campaign. Yeah, because I'm sure to get your car ready for winter, there's a whole range of things you need to do. These could be standalone short form videos. You could make Instagram reels. You could have like a short form Instagram reel where you're showing the different things you need to do to get your car ready. Great idea, guys. Well done, team Sebastian's team. Heidi, let's have a look. So we've got some more here. Independent workshops and their customers. For example, young mother with a little child is going to the workshop and they meet up a superhero mechanic. He can make and fix everything with showing the problems they can occur during a day in the workshop. Yes, You've totally taken on board the whole advertainment element, making a traditionally maybe more boring educational video something a bit more exciting. One thing to add to that, so the superhero theme, I guess I would potentially want to just challenge that and say, is that going to be relevant to your target market, or is that maybe more appealing to younger demographic? It might, there's definitely people that watch superhero films and stuff. Potentially there could be some kind of different characters that might be from TV shows or from things that the demographic watch, but really good idea. Love that. Great entertainment. Dominic, so we can have taken the tuning scene in particular as our target group, or the tuning scene, as an idea to generate advertainment. We would have used well-known clips from the Fast and Furious film series and, for example, commented on which tuning measures were undertaken and how to do it. Yes, I love this idea. This is really, really cool, guys. So yeah, taking clips from the Fast and Furious, then having your team of experts or your like the people in your company talking about what they've done to the car and explaining it, and maybe giving some commentary on why they think it's good or bad. Just a point on this, it's really important to try and find the people in your company who have great personalities to come across on camera. Some people are more introverted and maybe aren't right to be on camera, but within every company, there's always people who are, quite willing to be on camera, and they've got a really great personality. So try and find those people to be in these videos. Great idea, guys. Deauville, hopefully I pronounced that right. We target the mechanics who are interested in technical trainings via fun pictures or videos showing the repair the wrong way. The targeted audience immediately want to comment how to do this correct professional way. The message can be passed by famous people in the country and region. Yes, I love that. That's a really creative approach to having a bit more fun with it, showing how not to do things, and then showing how to do it. Really great idea. Dejan, again, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. Hi, target market, B2B mechanics in order to get closer to car owners. Idea, showing repairs and making conclusion is that the car worth still repairing, or is it for sale or not to be driven at all for scrap? Okay, like an educational, interesting thing, like could we sell the car? Could we repair it? Great. Average car park is older than 12 years in average. Cool. Great idea, guys. Thomas Mayer, hopefully I pronounced that right. We had two ideas that were discussed. One, a video format where mechanics are accompanied performing a diagnostic where the end parts from our portfolio are displayed, which could solve problems identified during the diagnostic work. Yes. Do you know what's super clever about this? You're creating advertainment and it's still having that sales element in a subtle way. You're producing something interesting, but also showing at the end, these are the products that we sell that could be used to fix this. Love it. Really love it, Thomas. Great. And number two, a series of pictures displaying how our parts look like after, for example, 30,000 kilometers to underline our quality promise. Yes. Do you know what this is? You know that the marketing funnel I shared? This is great consideration content, great trust building content to show the quality of the products you've got. Really good. These pictures would be shot within workshops in order to catch the spirit of everyday work at garages. Yes. So the main target group are mechanics workshops, but of course, end consumers as well. Yes. And the reason this would work well is getting the personalities of the mechanics across is relatable. It's going to be more interesting to watch. What you don't want is like someone robotic talking to camera like, hello, this is our workshop, which when you find the right characters within your company and they start to feel more comfortable on camera, then their personalities can really come across. I don't know how much time we've got left. Message me on WhatsApp, Bisltein team, if you need me to hurry up. So Heidi, it was the example with the child. I don't know what that's referring to. Yakovos. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. Bring your classic dad's car and we will maintain it. Let's say you have an old car in the garage and you don't know what to do with it. We can take care of the car with fully serviced, polished, classic is always gold. Right. So this is brilliant. So the idea is getting someone's dad's car, which needs renovating. There's been TV shows about this, But to take this to another level, right? And again, make this emotive, this idea, you could find people who deserve a nice thing done for them. You know, maybe they've had a tragedy in their family, or they're not happy at the moment. You know, creating a piece of content where you do something nice for them to uplift them, again, that could be really emotive and really good. So yeah, love that idea, guys. So cool. That's all the ideas we've gone through. Really great work. What time is it? Do we have time for a couple of some Q&A now?
Yes, of course.
Great. If anyone has any questions, please do put them in the chat. Whilst you're coming up with your questions, I do actually have some questions that were sent through before. I'm just going to start answering some of these, and then I'm going to come back and look in the chat to answer some of your questions. So any questions, it could be about Instagram, it could be about marketing in general, you know, it could be about other platforms. Happy to answer any questions around that. So please do write your questions in the chat. So I'm just going to go and find, bear with me, these questions. So on my screen. Okay, so a few questions and things to talk about. So one of the things people asked was some good tools for creating visuals and content on Instagram. And I've got a few for you. So a lot of you probably heard, first one, Canva. Again, you may have probably heard of that. It's a free online design tool for people who maybe aren't so great at design, graphic design. Lots of great templates and things on there. Definitely check out Canva. Another one, this is actually something I use pretty much every day or every week. There's a tool called Cut Story, CUTSTORY. What this does is it's an app which chops up your videos into shorter clips in one button. So let's say you had a 2-minute video of you walking around your workshop and you wanted to put that on Instagram stories. You can put it in the Cut Story app and it chops it up into 15-second segments for you to upload. So definitely check that out. Cut Story, CUTSTORY. I might even just put that in the chat if I can find that. Cut Story, where's the chat? Oh, there's the chat, right. Cut Story. There you go. That's what it's called. And Canva is another one. Any questions, guys, please do put them in the chat. So another one, InShot. InShot, InShot. This is a really great video editing tool, app for your phone where you can edit videos, which is really, really good. Definitely recommend that. It's quite simple and easy to use. So even if you're a beginner, it's, you know, you can chop videos up, you can add different effects. It's really good for your Instagram. Another one I've just thought of that I actually recently downloaded, which is brilliant, Mixed Captions. Oh, sorry, I spelled that wrong. Mixed Captions. This is a really cool tool, app for your phone that automatically creates captions, subtitles for your videos and burns them in. All of your videos should have subtitles. Recently, Instagram have brought out automatic subtitles on stories and on IGTV videos, but they don't have it for video, like post videos on your grid or Instagram Reels. So it's a really great app. And also for other social platforms, you know, there's been research done to show 80% of people watch videos on social media with the sound off. So making sure you have captions captures the attention of those people, and also people who are hard of hearing and that kind of thing. It can really help with that. So definitely have a look at Mixed Captions. That's a really good one to look at. Another one, Photoshop. You've already, if you're more advanced, probably heard of Photoshop. So another topic that I want to speak about is TikTok. TikTok. I'm sure some of you have heard of TikTok. It's just reached 1 billion users a few days ago, just reached 1 billion active global users, which is mental. If you think Facebook's about 2 billion and think how long Facebook's been going since around 2007, TikTok, only a few years old, has already reached 1 billion active users. So the reason I want to talk to you about TikTok is because there's huge potential on the platform. And also, if you create Instagram Reels, you can repurpose those for TikTok. You can use them for TikTok. And the reason, you know, a lot of people look at TikTok and think it's just stupid people dancing around, which I understand, but it's so much more than that. You can create huge awareness for your brand on TikTok with like low production value. The reason it works so well is because there's a low barrier to entry. You know, with a lot of other social platforms, you have to be good at producing high quality content, right? Makes sense. On TikTok, you don't. You like the content that works is shot on a phone, no production value, very little production value, tapping into trends and things. So yeah, definitely have a look at TikTok and give it a go. There's loads of creative tools on there to add green screens to your videos, to add effects, to add augmented reality filters. It's really worth checking out and just have a play with. I'd tell you one action for you. If you haven't got TikTok, download it and just spend some time on the platform. This is only going to help your marketing knowledge and understanding. Yeah, so definitely have a look at that. Let me see. Are there any questions in the chat yet? No questions in the chat yet. Okay, I'll keep going then. Cool. What else have I said? Did I just say anything else? Yeah, TikTok. Just put that in the chat. Definitely download the TikTok action for you all. Download the TikTok app and just, as I mentioned before, we get some of our most creative brand campaign ideas from TikTok. Any cool TikTok examples related to our industry? Oh, good question. Daniel Mack. I've already said he's on Instagram as well. What I would do actually, here you go. Here's a I don't have the answer to that question right now. Here's a practical process to find the answer. So I'm going to talk you through what I would do to find the answer to that question. So if you open your TikTok app, sorry, I'm just trying to turn my volume down. If you open your TikTok app and you click, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. If you click on the search feature, you click onto the search, which is the second icon from the bottom. And at the top, type in a keyword to do with your industry. There was a question on about cool. So please, sorry, type in your industry. So type in cars as a very basic one. You can think of all the keywords to do with your company, but type in cars. There's even something called cars TikTok. And then what you have here is the search results for the most viewed and engaged videos to do with that hashtag. You can then start to find accounts that are producing ranking content to do with your industry. That's how I'd find the answer to your question in terms of cool examples of people, yeah, to do with that. I have teenagers in the house, we'll give them a... Yes, Matea, love that. You've got teenagers in the house and we'll give them a task this afternoon. Brilliant idea. Yeah, kids love TikTok. So definitely if you've got kids, get them to help you with TikTok. I'm not sure how old you all are, and I'm not going to guess, but yeah, if you've got anyone younger, what other questions? There was a question. Any other questions? Anything else? I'll keep. I can't see any more questions there. There's a trend for TikTokers over 30 and 40. I tell you what, this is interesting. This is the life cycle of these platforms. What happens is, so TikTok, for example, what happens is a new platform like TikTok comes out, all of your kids or all of the kids will go onto that platform, right? To get away from their parents. You know, your parents, you guys are on Facebook or, you know, you guys are on an older platform like that. Your kids and younger kids will want to get away from that. It happened with Snapchat, same with TikTok. Then when parents and older people start to see that kids are on that platform, they start to go over to there, and then the age demographic rises up. It happened with Snapchat. It happened with Instagram. It's about to happen with, or it's happening with TikTok. older people are using the platform. Eventually TikTok probably won't be cool, and then all the kids will want to go somewhere else. I have a question. So Simona, I have a question about another platform. Do you think that Twitch might be also interesting for ads, especially when talking about automotive? I think any platform where your customers are, like Twitch potentially, is a potential opportunity to reach and engage your audience. Now, what I'd want to be looking at with Twitch is, are your customers there? Are your customers there as a first starting point? If they're not, the answer is no. So are your customers there? And then if they are, I'd then start to spend some time looking at the platform and looking at what other creators in your industry are doing to get some inspiration from. One thing you want to be careful of is spreading yourself too thin. You know, like we all get excited by shiny objects. All TikTok's come out, Twitch has come out, Reddit is a thing, you know, augmented reality, VR. But what you don't want to do is spread your resource so thin that you're doing lots of things in an average way. I'd focus heavily on between 1 to 3 platforms and really go all in most of your effort, and also spend 20% of your time testing another platform. So to be honest, the Twitch question, Simona, if you found out that your customers are there, you could spend 20% of your efforts testing that. For example, we did this we have a podcast called the Business Anchors Podcast. I'm going to put it in the chat. Business Anchors Podcast. I'm actually going to get your link as well. So let me just explain this. We had a year ago, we wanted to spend 20% of our time testing a new platform. So we started a podcast called the Business Anchors Podcast. And it was a little test, and we thought we're going to try this because we know that our customers like listening to podcasts. There's a link in the chat. And for 6 months, we got not a lot, a few listeners, not any customers. The next 6 months, we increased our revenue so much that we hired another 8 people in our agency, and we generated some of our biggest, most lucrative deals from the podcast. And that was one of those 20% tests. So definitely, like a good question about Twitch. If you want to test that for 20% of your audience are there, then do it. Christina, thank you for reminding us we are seniors. Sorry about that. To be honest, I'm probably similar age to you, so sorry if I've offended anyone. About giveaways. So Anissa, I hope that I've pronounced your name right. About giveaways, is it still a good way to get more followers or engagement? Which is the best way to make them successful? Good question. So I think my honest answer is yes, they can work. However, doing giveaways, where you say to enter the giveaway, follow us, like us and all that, you're basically gaming the system, and you're going to get a lower quality number of followers. Like your followers will be lower quality because they're not following you because they like you. They're following you to enter a competition. So your engagement rate is going to drop. So yes, they can work. And okay, so some tips to make them work. One, make it as simple as possible for them to enter. So don't make it too complicated. Make them do one thing to enter. 2, try and increase the reach and the people entering by teaming up with influencers to promote that and distribute that content. And also try different formats, try different content formats, try doing it on Reels, try doing it as a post, and also continuously promote it. Another tip is there are lots of, if you don't care about the quality of your followers, which you should, then there are like online platforms, giveaway platforms and compers where you can put your competition and loads of people enter, but then it's not the best quality. Sebastian, I would research the popularity of social media platforms in our respective countries before using it. Yes, great tip. As I was kind of speaking about before, make sure to check that your customers are actually on the platform before just getting excited and trying it. Matea, lol. Lol to you too. So finally, is there anything else? Okay, so final couple of things from me, if there's no more questions. Social media trends. Social media trends. What's our prediction for the future in social media? A few things. TikTok is going to continue to grow. TikTok is going to, if you've seen it's grown to 1 billion, it's going to be 2 billion by next year. It's going to grow at a dramatic rate. And as I mentioned before, the age demographic is going to age up because this is the life cycle of all social platforms. And I think a new platform is going to emerge. I'm not sure what it is yet, but if you see, this is the life cycle of social platforms. As I said earlier, a new platform will emerge, and younger people will jump to that platform, and the same process will happen. Another thing, the evolution of social ads. The cookie is dying. If you think about Apple's iOS 14 updates, where they're making it much more difficult to track external activity on their apps, I think Facebook and Instagram, and they've already started this, are going to create a shopping ecosystem where everything is done on their platform. Imagine if like Facebook and Shopify partnered and you go on Facebook to shop. They've already got Facebook shopping, yes, and Instagram shopping, but I think it's going to be way more evolved than that, in the sense they want to try and change consumer behavior to think, just like we think with Amazon, I need to buy something, where do I go? Amazon. Facebook and Instagram want us to think, I need to buy something, where do I go? Facebook or Instagram. They're going to create, my prediction is, shoppable platforms, because then they don't need Apple to track your data, because it's all inbuilt in their platform. They can track everything. That's another benefit to them, because then it doesn't matter if external platforms like Apple change the way they track things and block you, because it's all within their platform. So that's something else I think is going to happen. What else? Also, and again, I know someone spoke on this, but the continued evolution of post-COVID content. I think we're all getting a lot more used to figuring things out ourselves remotely. So I think that's going to continue to happen. But someone's already spoken on that, so I won't kind of go over that. I think, let me just go into the chat if there's, okay, please, which are the giveaway platforms? So go, just Google, I don't know specific, Google comping website or raffle website, that kind of thing. And there's thousands of them where people like entering competitions go to enter competitions. But as I say, the quality of your followers will be low because they don't have an intent to. No probs. I think if there's no other questions, I'm guessing I'm done. I hope you all enjoyed that. And yeah, I've really enjoyed this. So thanks for having me.
Okay, then I think we're over. Thank you, Dan. That was a lovely presentation. And for sure, one of the most interesting workshops. Wow, this is how information bombing looks like. It was quite impressive, I have to say this. But I need a little break to drink something refreshing before our next speaker starts with his presentation. So let's meet here in 10 minutes. All right?
Cool. I'm going now, guys. Thank you all. Have a lovely rest of your event.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
we all back? I hope we are. So, are you ready for our final speaker? I guess you are. But did you already posted something on your Instagram story using tag BRMM_2021 and hashtag BRMM2021? If you forgot, there is still some time left and you can get a chance to win some nice prizes. All right, so our last speaker for today is Head of Demand Generation Marketing at Mitto. He is an energetic marketing professional with a wide variety of industry experience. After nearly 4 years managing events for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, McLaughlin transitioned to the world of B2B technology within the CPAS market, where he directed internal communications and field and content marketing programs. Recently stepping into the role of Mitto, McLaughlin now oversees the company's content strategy and corporate communications. He leveraged his passion for creative brand messaging to drive customer engagement and new business acquisition. Tyler will explain why meeting our customers and engaging them today using business messaging is essential. Please welcome our next speaker, Tyler McLaughlin, to this meetup.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with you today. Thank you for joining my session. My name is Tyler McLaughlin. I'm the head of demand generation at Mitto. Mitto is a global omni-channel communication services provider, and we are here today to talk about the essential role of business messaging. We don't have a ton of time, so I'm just going to jump right in. Our focus will be on how you can better reach and engage today's consumers, specifically the essential role of SMS and A2P messaging, that's application to person, which means chat apps, RCS, social media channels, things like that. And because now more than ever, connecting with consumers via their mobile device is the way to stay ahead and stay top of mind at every stage along the customer journey. So come join me for our journey today for the next 15 minutes. So we'll start with the brand consumer relationship has been evolving for a long time. And now connecting with consumers to their mobile devices is not necessarily a new thing, but what we've seen recently is that brand consumer relationships have continued to evolve towards this direction, with the mobile channel becoming more and more essential as a myriad of interactions now take place on mobile devices. So smartphone usage has grown a lot. It's projected to be at 7.4 billion global users by 2023. So we're looking at less than 2 more years to see, that's virtually everyone. I think we're close to around 8 billion people in the world. So it's got a very high market penetration for sure. And now with the world of pandemic, we're still in it. I don't want to say post-pandemic. It's certainly, I think we're in the 4th wave now. And it's affecting a lot of people across the globe still today. But it's required a more contactless services, which has pushed more and more purchases online. Over the next 20 years, to 95% of all purchases are projected to be online. And as modern digital businesses adapt to all of this, the consumer expectations for the convenience that comes with transacting through mobile have become very high. And that's regardless of the industry. So we mentioned COVID. We would be remiss to not talk about how much the world has changed in the last 18 months. And you're all thinking, okay, these mobile channels clearly make an impact, but now more than ever, the quality of communications is essential. So the increased adoption of mobile communications channels and the use of A2P communications to support the customer journey was already on the fast track, but then the world changed overnight. Consumers are now spending way more time online. Supply chains across the entire globe have been disrupted, and purchasing behaviors and habits have been altered, some say permanently. So coming from all of that and building on that, the consumer expectations are sky high, higher than they've ever been. And the consumers are requiring and demanding a near perfect customer experience, especially some of our big flagship brands in the world have set the bar very high. And now more than ever, everyone needs to capture a piece of that. So when implementing A2P communications, you must keep in mind that the communications you're delivering have to be fast. The content must be dynamic. Businesses need to offer multiple channels. We say you've got to meet your customer where they are. And that means on whatever channel it is that they find themselves preferring, SMS, an A2P application, et cetera. And you have to be flexible. Again, you got to meet the customer when and where they want. So you as a business need to be agile. All right, so all of it comes down to proving the best, most seamless customer experience. And what we found in working with brands here at Mitto is that A2P messaging and SMS, so sending customer alerts, notifications, reminders, promotions, security codes, the list goes on. This all supports the entire buyer journey from acquisition to retention through ongoing loyalty. And why is that? Why are SMS and A2P so effective? It's really simple because everyone can be reached on their mobile device. As I mentioned at the beginning, we've got very strong market saturation with cellular devices, mobile devices. Over 7 billion people have phones, and that's a lot of people that you're able to reach nearly immediately. So when it comes to the use cases for this, I just touched on a few. It's essentially limitless. It's up to your own imagination. It can touch every point of the customer journey. So here's a few examples. Marketing campaigns are a really, really popular use case. SMS has an open rate that is 400% higher than any other channel. It's email, direct mail, etc. The open rate is quite substantial. You think about it in your own potential use case. I know personally, my personal email inbox, non-work, will rack up a high number of unread emails, but my text message inbox, I always keep clean. And that's something that I as soon as I get a text within 30 minutes, I'm opening that message to see what it's about. And that results in a nearly 98% read rate across the use case for SMS messaging. So high open rate, high read rate. You could do order confirmations, support for contactless delivery. What's better than receiving a text that tells you your food is waiting at your door? I love people, I love interacting with people, but at the end of a long day, if you order some food and you kind of just want to grab it, get to the couch, watch some TV and enjoy your food, it's so nice to just have contactless delivery and receive that message knowing that your food has been dropped off and you just go out and grab it. A very seamless and frictionless end user experience. Another use case is security alerts. The most reliable channel for delivery of one-time passcodes is SMS. So that's a really big use case for SMS. And two-way chat support. As we mentioned, again, this is how consumers want to interact with businesses. The expectations are high, the experience is evolving. It's become a two-way relationship. The customer wants to be able to communicate with you and have you respond back in a short period of time. And honestly, any other sort of notifications, it's limitless. You can get very creative with SMS and A2P. All right, so I said this before, it's about meeting customers where they are. And we say that over and over again. It's one of our mantras here at Mitto. And it's so true as a brand and as this customer expectation is evolving, it's really important that you be flexible and meet them where they want to do business or where they want to interact with a business. So we'll look at some stats here. 64% of consumers think businesses should contact them via text more often. This is extremely valuable for customer acquisition. Think about a lot of the recent regulations and policies that are being put in place around email and contacting people via phone. A lot of limitations. People want to be able to unsubscribe. Apple recently unveiled a feature in their phones where you can block any callers automatically that aren't in your address book. Now, people don't want to be spammed, but yet here we're hearing from consumers that they want you to reach out to them via text, though. This seems to be the one exception, and a text is much less intrusive, and it's much easier to manage. And again, that high open rate, you see a message and you can immediately respond to it. 56% of all customers surveyed would rather message a business than call customer service. This is the new normal. I just mentioned a lot of people are steering away from phone calls. You don't want to, a phone call is a bit consuming. You kind of have to stop a lot of what you're doing, what you're able to either hold a phone, or even if you've got AirPods, or wireless headphones, speaking with someone on the phone, it's more difficult. You have to kind of focus your attention there versus a text message or an A2P application message. You can get to it when you're ready. If you got to take a couple of minutes to step away, you can do so. 77% of consumers are more likely to have a positive perception of a company that offers SMS. And this is key. 77% is very high. And this is brand loyalty driven from a great customer experience. This results in repeat sales and retention, which is what every business is after. Okay, so when we get into talking about delivering these messages, delays are unacceptable. And we've all been there. You're using a web or mobile application, and in order to register or complete a transaction, you got to enter a PIN code, a one-time passcode to verify your identity so that they can keep your account secure. Or you're maybe about to make a purchase and then an opportunity pops up to have a promo code sent to you, and you want to be able to get that 10% off. We all want that 10% off. And then suddenly there's a delay. That is not frictionless. That is not a good customer experience. And honestly, today's consumer with these high expectations, they're not going to tolerate an interruption in this. It's unnecessary friction. They have options, and if they encounter an issue, they will move on to another brand. So we here at Mitto like to consider ourselves not your average messaging provider. We consider ourselves above average. We strive for perfection and making sure that your messages are delivered. We've been doing this for a long time, and we know how to get ahead of any quality issues, and we have the support needed to ensure success. We use a proprietary AI-powered platform to ensure the messages we send on behalf of our customers get delivered when they're supposed to be delivered. A lot of our other brands involve manual passive quality tracking, whereas ours is automated through this sophisticated AI system. And the manual passive tracking results in reactive troubleshooting, message delays, low latency or high latency, low conversions, and high churn. So simply put, with Mitto, the era of poor customer communications is over. And that's good because everything we just talked about at the beginning tells you it has to be. The expectations are so high. So our industry-leading AI platform, connections to over 1,000 operators across the globe, and globally distributed operations means we're able to take care of anybody anywhere across the planet. I'll give you an example of a satisfied customer. InDriver is one of the world's fastest growing transportation services. This is a big success story for them. They're ranked as one of the top 5 most downloaded rideshare and taxi apps. They've got over 50 million registered users. And they recently found themselves in a similar situation similar to what I just described. They saw low SMS delivery rates that were harming their business. An increase in customer complaints meant a rise in support costs and a frustrated user base. Worst of all, these failed SMS messages were causing app registration abandonment and a drop in new sign-up conversions. This was all at a high cost to InDriver. Those high messaging costs combined with low performance is not the winning combination that successful brands look for with an A2P communications provider. InDriver's problem was simple. They needed their SMS messages delivered to their riders and drivers without issue so they could fulfill their mission of returning freedom and fairness to the rideshare industry. After partnering with Mitto, InDriver saw their SMS deliverability rates jump over 20%. It resulted in an increased conversion rate across their entire user and customer experience. That was more users signing up, more people getting rides, more drivers earning fares. Everyone won. In addition to, due to Mitto's groundbreaking routing platform, in certain instances, InDriver even saves money because of being able to successfully an optimized routing platform. All right, for everyone now thinking, this sounds like a great new channel for my customer engagement strategy. How do I get started? Well, it's really simple. For many companies, time, money, and resources are limited, and that's where pre-built integrations come in. A lot of people on this call, I believe, are marketers. It's the conference, I believe, is geared towards marketers. So a lot of you are already using these platforms to reach your customers. HubSpot, Salesforce Marketing Cloud, Magento, Responses. There's a laundry list of these platforms that are already lined up in your tech stack, and you can easily integrate SMS solutions into these platforms. And I'll note when it comes to Mitto, It's the pricing scale is just for the SMS sent. You don't have an overhead for the integration cost. So to summarize, the benefits of adding A2P messaging channel to your customer engagement strategy are the ubiquity and flexibility to reach mobile devices when you meet consumers on their terms. When partnered with the right provider, it's a fast, reliable, and secure channel for ongoing communications at every stage of the customer journey. A2P and SMS support dynamic and engaging content. That is something that customers are asking for from the brands they interact with. And the technology is highly scalable. You can reach any customer anywhere in the world at any time. As big as your company grows, as many customers as you have, it can scale with you. All right, that's everything. I think I'm at my time. Thank you so much for joining today. This has been awesome. Please check us out at www.mitto.ch. That is our website. You can check out our blog. We've got new content every week. We do research programs and publish results through the blog. So definitely check that out. And follow us on social media. We post LinkedIn content every single day. And if you think that SMS or A2P is right for your business, reach out to me directly and I'll be happy to provide you with more info. I also believe there's a Q&A through the chat. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask and we'll make sure those get answered. And yeah, thank you so much for joining and I hope you all enjoy the rest of the event. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Tyler, for this inspiring presentation, I need to say. I don't know if you have any questions. If you have some of those, please type them in this chat box. You already know the drill. I'm gonna wait maybe a minute if you want to do something regarding that. You will have one. Okay. I'm waiting. Okay, so for this occasion, I'm gonna invite Marina, who is also from Mitto, and she will be there to to give you some answers on some questions that you have or some other questions, common questions that people usually ask. Okay, so let's give permission to Marina.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, hello.
Welcome.
Good to meet you. Tyler already was explaining how customer expectations and have shifted since COVID and how they are still going to be very high after the COVID as well. But one thing that is for sure, customers are the trends that are now that we see now is that we really need to customers are controlling the communications. Customers, they are controlling the interactions. So brands really need to adapt to that. So also the industries that showed very big during Corona that rose in terms of business messaging are definitely rideshare apps, as Tyler already mentioned. There are also of food delivery apps, all the apps that were, that made people's lives more convenient during this period of time. If you don't have any more questions, yes.
Okay, maybe one more. Yeah. All right.
Well, voice messages are already very popular in businesses, but as Tyler already mentioned in his presentation, the people now really want to be able to communicate with businesses and to be reached out by businesses where they are. So having like a call and having a conversation is more time consuming. So now people really expect to be able to text the business and to text them on the apps that they they prefer. So like if anywhere in the world, like different people are using different chat apps or different communication tools, but they really want to be reached out by a business on the channel that they prefer. So yeah, I think of course they're still popular, but text messaging is becoming more and more popular and more convenient for the world that we live in. You're welcome. If you have any more questions, I'm also here. I would also like to add, like, about the industries interested during Corona, the previous questions. Well, of course, without a doubt, that's also e-commerce and retail, because we all saw that in this during Corona, like a lot of businesses, but mostly retail, needed to shift to online commerce. So a lot of them needed business messaging, and that's also a very big rise, where we saw a very big rise in business messaging. Well, the open rate for SMS is much higher than, I mean, much higher. It's the highest number of open rate for any channel. So SMS has 98% of open rate versus Viber. Viber is not popular everywhere in the world. Like Viber is popular in Eastern Europe, in CIS region. It's becoming more and more popular in some parts of Asia. But SMS can be used everywhere in the world. So of course you cannot compare those. But yes, Viber is also a very good tool for marketing messaging, especially for marketing campaigns, because with Viber you have additional features where you can send much more dynamic content in terms of links, in terms of images, versus SMS, where you can only send like a text, plain text. But yes, SMS, as Tyler already mentioned, and I am sure that most of us are doing the same, we keep our SMS inbox clean. Like we almost read every message there is. Yes, for offers, of course, for public holiday, yes. Yeah, we also saw a lot of for this, not only public holidays, but like public notifications. If you remember, I'm sure in many countries we were receiving messages from government, like informing us about what is happening with the COVID and with the situation. So yes, it's very common. And of course, much nicer occasions like birthdays for employees, for customers, sending not only also sending like not only offers but vouchers or something like to thank our customers. Are there any more questions?
I think that's it. Thank you, Marina, for jumping in and
no problem,
giving us some answers on interesting questions, and send our regards to Tyler.
I can also, if you are interested, I can share here a link where you can download some of the surveys that Tyler used in his presentation, where you can find a lot of more information about the trends, about the different chat apps, about the numbers. Maybe it would be interesting for people here to read. We did several different surveys, like one of them is comparing trends before and after COVID and a year into the COVID. And the other one is like about consumers' expectations and also about consumer sentiments toward chat apps, toward SMS, and one more that is like a psychological about customers' expectations, but based on their age and their different, like where they are location and stuff like that. So I can send all those links if you're interested. Maybe I can post here in chat, or you can easily reach out to me or Tyler. My email is marina@mitto.ch and Tyler is tyler@mitto.ch.
Okay.
So
we can share that, but I think we have another question over here that we missed. So you can check it.
Just a question. Just a second. Where have we got? Okay, I'm not sure I understand this very well. Like you have a list of contacts, or all are available on Viber, but you cannot send them because we need. So the question didn't end. You probably need a tool for using this. The question is not.
She's continuing. Wait. Okay, I think Marina has some issues with internet connection. It happens. Let's see if she's gonna unfreeze. Or not. Okay, I think we will need to finish this. We will post everything. We will send you all the links regarding Mitto and everything that Marina mentioned. So you will be updated regarding this topic and regarding their work. So yeah, I think you can close it. Good. Okay. All right, I think we just hit the end of our speaker's presentation at this meetup. And I have to say, it was marvelous. Tell us how you liked it, because we are curious to hear your impressions. This is really important to us. But before closing it officially, let's see which 3 Instagram stories were chosen by our jury, special jury, marketing SEE team. Okay, I need to share a screen for this. Let me just do it in a minute. Okay, I hope you can see it. Okay, so the first one is by rosto.me4ta. I don't know who this person is, but please give us details about your contact. Okay, and then this one is actually it is a really nice one. Thank you for this. Next one, we have it from Mirjana Malbasha Milovanovic. Auta Milovanovic. Okay, good one. It's an interesting one. A good environment. All right. And the third one, I think I missed it. All right. Anissa Metzi. Interesting. I love the colors, by the way. So you liked Dan's presentation most, I guess. Okay, perfect. So these are the 3 winners. Let me just stop sharing the screen, or we're gonna get confused, or we will have some technical issues again. All right. So I have to say, you were creative during this meetup, so you deserve some prizes that will empower your creativity and your business approach. Each of you will receive one of those books. I will name each of those books, and please don't fight because all 3 are highly rated and recommended by experts. And it was definitely not that easy to choose the best stories, because some of those stories actually became viral instantly. So these ones actually are the ones that we chose because of this. All right, so the first book is the name of the book is 1 Million Followers, updated edition, How I Built a Massive Social Following in 30 Days. This is the book by Brandon Kane. The second one is Epic Content Marketing, how to tell a different story, break through the clutter, and win more customers by marketing less, by Joy Pulizzi. And the third one is Expert Secrets, the underground playbook for converting your online visitors into lifelong customers, by Russell Brunson. So congratulations to the winners. But I want to thank everyone for participating in this challenge and more importantly in this meetup.
Hello again. Thank you for taking place at this year's event.
We hope that you have learned something new and useful from today's lectures and topics.
We are happy to see you in larger number than ever before.
We believe that we will continue this positive trend in the following years.
This is the proof that our event and its content is very fruitful to you.
So we can keep up with learning new marketing trends, tips and tricks in the future together.
Goodbye for now and stay safe.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you very much for this.